What's going on, everyone? So, Anthony Davis, we're still waiting on what's going to happen with AD. Is he going to miss a couple games? Is he going to miss just this next game? Is he going to miss weeks, months? What's going to happen with his eye? Now, per reports, he is supposed to see a specialist. Apparently, it's just for precautionary reasons. They just want to make sure that they're covering all their bases, and he's good to go. Hopefully, it's nothing major. Hopefully, he doesn't miss any type of significant time. Maybe he has to throw on the old school goggles. Whatever he's got to do, get out there on the basketball court. Anthony Davis is having just a ridiculous MVP level type of season. And we really can't afford to lose Anthony Davis, right? We need Anthony Davis for as many games as possible this season. Now, he has been very healthy the last few seasons. I know a lot of people are kind of waiting for that shoe to drop. But he's done a much better job the last few years of just playing through, just like the little knick-knack injuries and just anything that's not major, right? And knock on wood, hopefully he can continue to remain healthy, continue to play strong. Because, again, we need him as close to that 76-game mark that we saw last season as possible. This season so far for the Lakers, 35 minutes of action. He is shooting 57.7% from the field. He is shooting 35% from three-point range, which is definitely just solid for him. If he maintains that three-point percentage, it would be the best of his career through the regular season. Obviously, he had that 2020 bubble run, which was better, but and he's also taking just a hair under 2 threes a game. So the fact that he's shooting 35% when he's basically averaged 1.6 for his career and shot 30%. Also, he is shooting 60% from 2-point range on 16.8 attempts. He has an EFG of 59.5%. He is shooting 80% from the foul line on 11 attempts per game, averaging 10.4 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.3 steals, 2 blocks, 2.2 turnovers, and 1.2 personal fouls, averaging 31.2 points. Literally all-star, MVP, all-NBA type of talent. I mean, he is playing like a top 3 talent in the world. And we need that, right? If he misses any significant time, I mean, we're looking at a 40-year-old LeBron James to try to handle the workload. But question is, can we survive without Anthony Davis for, let's say, 5 games, right? Let's say he misses like 2 weeks with the injury, right? Hopefully it's not more than that. Hopefully he doesn't miss any time, right? Hopefully he's ready to go for the Grizzlies game, or if he does miss the Grizzlies game, he's back for the Spurs game. Luckily, we had an extra day off in between, right? We had the game on the 10th. Lakers don't play again until the 13th, so hopefully that will go a long way. And then they play again the 15th and the 16th on a back-to-back against the Spurs and the Pelicans. Now, when you look at this schedule coming up, right? Grizzlies, no Ja Morant, no Desmond Baines, right? They're missing several key guys. Still have Triple J, still have Zach Edey. Would be nice to have Anthony Davis in that matchup, but it does kind of feel like the Grizzlies is a game that you may be able to win. Some people might feel otherwise, but no Ja Morant. I think that you can definitely pull out that win, especially at home with the way some of the key role guys play. Spurs, again, playing Victor Wembanyama. You'd like to see Anthony Davis, but I do feel like, that's a game that you could win. Pelicans, they don't have a center, and they're without Zion. They're without DeJounte Murray. Again, kind of feels like a game you can win. Utah Jazz might be tough with them having Kessler and like several other bigs. But again, Utah's one of the worst, if not the worst team in the entire NBA. Again, another game that I think that you should win. And then you'd be heading into that Orlando Magic game, which hopefully, worst case scenario, that's when he would return. Because otherwise, look, you're relying on Jackson Hayes, Jackson Hayes, I think, has been better this season. I also think J.J. Redick has done a better job of utilizing Jackson Hayes this season. I think he's put him in a really good position this year, but Jackson Hayes, one, doesn't give you anywhere close to the rim protection and perimeter defense that Anthony Davis provides. Two, obviously, he's not the offensive weapon that Anthony Davis provides. But I like Jackson Hayes, but I like Jackson Hayes as your third big, right? Like, ideally, you have, say, Walker Kessler or something like that. And, it's like, okay, well, Anthony Davis is getting the night off, Kessler starting, and then Hayes is your backup, right? And then the other nights, it's like, okay, 80 starting, Kessler's the backup, and then Hayes is the other guy. Him as your primary backup, him as basically your starter, I'm not really a big fan of. Now, he has, even last year, like, you look at, like, the Celtics game stuff, like, he's had games where he's stepped up big in the big moments, but he's just, obviously, you're never replacing Anthony Davis. It doesn't matter who you have. You could have Miles, unless you have Jokic or Embiid, right, as your backup, you're not replacing Anthony Davis. But Jackson, there's, like, okay, well, at least you get the rim protection. So if the other guys can pick up the offensive slack, right? Like, Jackson Hayes it doesn't cover the bases well enough that you need to kind of offset at least some of the things that Anthony Davis provides, right? Now, again, if he can come in and give you 15 and 10, then, that goes a long way. But you're really asking a lot more from the other guys, which are probably going to default to LeBron James having to step up and play even bigger. Now, you do have Christian Koloko. Christian Koloko, shot blocking and rim protection-wise, is better. However, he's a guy that hasn't played in a year and a half and has played one game thus far for the Lakers in a limited backup role, right? Like, in the game that Anthony Davis missed. How much are you really going to be able to rely on Christian Koloko to step up and play meaningful minutes and, be the type of factor we need him to be, right? Like, I don't know if you can, I don't know if that's a real possibility or something to really ask for Koloko. Now, obviously, you never know, guys. He was an NBA player, right? He was a development guy, even before this injury, or before the blood clot, not injury, but, it is, not a medical issue, right? But, even before the blood clots and stuff, he still was a development big. He's still a development big. He's incredibly just skinny. We talked about it even after the game where it was just like, man, he really needs to put on like 40 pounds, right? So it's very interesting to see what can Christian Koloko provide on a nightly basis, but are we ever going to get to see that? And then the only times that you do get to see it is, like, again, when Anthony Davis is out. And so you're kind of just throwing him into the fire, hoping and praying that he becomes what you need him to become, right? It's asking a lot from Koloko. It's asking a lot from Jackson Hayes. And I don't know if they're the guys that are going to be able to handle it. Maybe, right? You never know. Again, like, if Jackson Hayes gives you, say, 15 and 8, right? Or, say 15 and 8. And then Koloko can come in and give you, let's say another 8 and 8 with 3 blocks. All right, like, okay, now you started to offset some of the things that you needed to offset, right? Now you started to fix and correct some of the things that you needed to fix and correct with Anthony Davis out. But overall, the other alternative would be a panic trade, which I don't want to see the Lakers do. I don't want to see the Lakers, like, you got to stay the course. You got to stay patient. Obviously, look, if a deal's there, you take it. Right? Like, if you go get Walker Kessler right now for a first, you take it. But outside of that, I don't want to see the Lakers now go panic, trade all their first to go get Walker Kessler. Now you're stuck, and it's like, okay, well, Walker Kessler by himself doesn't make us a contender. Does it make us better? Sure. Like, does it help when Anthony Davis is out? Sure. But now we're not all of a sudden the best team in the NBA. Right? Like, it's just, you need other things. You need a Kessler and. You need Kessler and, one, if not really, probably 2 pieces. So I don't want to see the Lakers go and pull off a panic trade. So you kind of just got to stay the course, in my opinion. And one, you got to hope that Anthony Davis is fine and can bounce back sooner rather than later, and that hopefully he doesn't miss any time. He just puts on some goggles or something and he's ready to go. Right? He's playing the next game. But if it is something to where he misses 3, 4, 5 games. And I mean, this is just something that you can talk about just generally this season. If he misses any stretch this season, right, even if it's 3, 4 games, right, like what's the impact? Can the Lakers stay afloat? Can they stay alive if Anthony Davis is out? Now, personally, I think depending on the matchup, yes. I think certain teams, even on this next stretch coming up, I do think that there is a real possibility that they could rattle off some of these wins without Anthony Davis. But there's also, like we saw with like San Antonio last year and Houston last year, right? Like teams just go, okay, Anthony Davis isn't in the paint, layup drill, right? And teams are just making a dash for the basket. Now, I do think better coaching, you kind of can be creative and trying to protect the paint in other ways, but it'd be nice to kind of have that rim protector and that shot blocker. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that the Lakers are they're cooked if Anthony Davis misses any time, any stretch? Do you think they'll win a couple games? Just depends on the matchups. As long as they're not playing any like marquee teams, they should be able to get the win. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.